everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to Fanatic Forum. I am your Fanatic and host, George Bueller. And of course, with me, my brother from another mother, right over here, the manhammer himself, the agent of chaos.
The guy with perpetual fucking audio problems. I was telling George before the show started, I could log in an hour early to get my stuff set up and something will always go wrong. Like my headset will not work for some reason. I'm having to use a weird, I'm having to hold a microphone like I'm in the 30s.
I'll say your mic kind of looks like an old school dildo. It's like almost like ladies' massage
deals.
I mean, it sounds good when it's pointing at your face. So if you get like a stand for that, you'd be golden, baby.
Okay, well that's good because I felt like I wasted so much money on this because I tried to use it as my original podcasting mic and apparently it didn't sound great either. I've been chasing the dragon on sounding halfway decent on podcasts for years.
No, I think you sound really good with that one. So yeah,
okay. Well,
you just basically you gotta have the mic in your face and talk to it. But there you go. I think it looks good.
Well, yeah, thank you. So,
so how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good for tonight. It was a good day at work. I was looking forward to coming on tonight and just hanging out. And it was, I got the boys downstairs. They're finally settled down. They weren't too happy that I had to come and ditch them up here. But they'll live.
Yeah, they will. So that's awesome, man. So, I won't get too terribly much into it, but it's been an interesting week for me. Lots of changes and things going on. But I won't get into things particular. Maybe next episode. We'll get into it. But yeah. So different changes going on professionally for me, but it's leading to bigger and brighter things. So there you go. So we'll just leave it at that here. But we got our boy Eric is in the house. What's up, Eric?
What up, Eric?
You were not late because we were a couple minutes late. So there you go. So
perpetual audio problems. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. Well, of course, our topic du jour here is basically celebrity stories. Basically, have you ever met anybody famous, whether they be an athlete, a musician, an actor, wrestler, whatever the case may be? Have you ever met anybody famous? How did it go? Was it a cool interaction? Did it not go well? Was it awkward? Whatever the case may be. So there's all kinds of those stories that people have. And I've got several. And I know you've got several as well. But we're going to break a little format here because normally we'll talk about comics. We'll talk about other things before we get to the big thing here. But, there's Sarah Boone's in the house. Good to see you, Sarah.
What up, Sarah?
Oh, love it. Good to see you.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you. We're going to break format just a little bit here because my beloved, the Mrs. Fanatic, she has got a awesome story that she's got to share with one of her big celebrity meetings. Now, granted, she's had a couple in particular, but there's one that our Discord, which, by the way, folks, check out the comments. Our link for the Discord is in there. If you're a friend of the Fanatic Forum, join the Discord there. We'd love to have you in. But yeah, nonetheless, the Discord has requested a particular story from Mrs. Fanatic. So let me turn the headphones over to her. Here you go, my dear.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Hello. Now, before you start, I want to be clear that this is not the Lloyd Kaufman story that I was present for, which is one of my favorite stories ever, by the way.
No, it is not that. And honestly, I had forgotten about that, and probably I bet he hasn't.
I don't think he has either. The poster is still hanging on my wall from that. That is the free poster that they gave us after after the encounter.
Yeah, they think a poster was going to keep us from a lawsuit. So I guess here's some paper. Please don't make us poor.
Exactly.
No, that isn't the. I honestly have really forgotten about that, but that is a treasured story that you and I will always share.
That was one of our bonding moments, I feel.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no. So I am going to tell the story about when I met Jessica White. And Lord. Okay, so I'm going to do my best because Seth, this is the end of my first full week of teaching.
So we're very lucky to have you to begin with.
Give me an update of, like, if people don't know who Jessica is.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm going to get to that. I was prefacing it with, if I talk in circles or whatever, it's either exhaustion or perimenopause or both. So
it's your first full week of back to school.
It's just, first full week back, and I have seniors in high school, and they are they're a lot. So so I've only had to mess up a few this week. Fucked up a couple kids today, so all in a day's work. That's why I wore my Ice Cube shirt, because I didn't have to use my AK.
Nice.
So I figured, that was
a good day.
Yes, it was. Because jail don't cook the food I like, so we're not going to try to go there. I'm not trying to eat that nutrition loaf. But okay, so for those who don't know, I am from West Virginia. You will hear it in my voice, I'm sure, and the kids laugh because the madder I get, the louder the West Virginia comes out. But so Jessica White, if nobody has seen, or if anybody has seen The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, that is Jessica and his family. So they, first of all, let me just say, they are not my people. I don't know them. I do not claim them. Very few people are going to go to Boone County, West Virginia, unless you need to commit a crime or hide a body. I'm sure there's some wonderful people down there, but they are not my people. My people are like middle West Virginia, upper southern, just everybody's hippies and runs the river and everybody's high all the time and whatever. So, but The Wild and Wonderful Whites is I think Johnny Knoxville's company produced it. And so, and it was really well done. It is a very open and raw version of what that family does and what they deal with, and so it's very interesting. But when I was growing up, there was an earlier version. The first version was, I think it was like a public TV one, and it was called The Dancing Outlaw. Jessica White, The Dancing Outlaw, and it is free on YouTube if anybody wants to go and find it. You just search the Dancing. Yes,
Dancing Outlaw. There. This is the one you introduced me to first off.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of makes you happy for the things that you have in your life. And, it has birthed some very interesting memes. His family is just really interesting. So
if you want to live to see tomorrow, how's it? If you want to live to see tomorrow,
start cooking them eggs a little bit better than you've been cooking them.
I don't want them nasty, sloppy eggs.
Sloppy, slimy eggs. Yeah. And he has spent the bulk. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. I don't know how.
Yes.
I really don't know how. Huffing all that paint. I mean, there's just holes in his brain has to look like Swiss cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
So in that first documentary, he talked about how often he would huff gasoline and pour it in a rag and smell it and stuff. So these are not my people. So don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. So when I was little, we knew him not just from that documentary, but because his daddy and he were big cloggers. And so that's that Appalachian, it's like river dance, but it's the country people doing it. Because of course, most of our people were Scotch Irish and came over. So,
right.
So the clogging, the Appalachian clogging, there were lots of my friends that did that growing up, and it's really neat. It's just a really cool cultural part of who we are. So his dad was a big clogger, and then he kind of took over that. He got those genes, and it really just was interesting. So when we were little, we went to a county fair, and I cannot remember what county it was. It doesn't really matter. We went to something, and he was dancing. So we watched him dance, and then they said, okay, well, if you want to, if you guys are interested, you can come over here and meet Jessica and get an autograph. And, that was like Jesus. I mean, it was really like trying to get whoever is, who thinks that are people that are super important today. That was the epitome of of what we thought was cool. Not very many people came to West Virginia that were famous. Just want to point that out.
It's like the meet the man who met Andy Griffith kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. It was, hey, this guy went to New York one time. Now we're going to interview him on 17 news stations because he has gotten away from he got out of the town. So yeah, we were like, whoa, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, we want to go get his autograph. I looked everywhere for this autograph because I know I still have it. And I know I didn't eat it. I know I didn't throw it away. It is in something. That's all I have for you. I don't know what it's in. It's in a book. It's in something because it was just a piece of paper. But like they had it printed up and it said, Jessica White, the dancing outlaw. And they had a little drawing of it and stuff. So you go up and you tell them your name. And so my name is Michelle. There's some letters that are repeated in there. It's pretty easy to spell.
Right.
Seth, I'm telling you, the amount of times that I had to say my name and spell it, I was like, I said, no, my name's Michelle. And he was, just the sweetest man, just the kind, very, very precious. But now what's your name again, sweetheart? Michelle. Okay. How do you spell that? Michelle. And he starts writing. Yeah. How do you spell that again? M-I-C-H. And like, I'm trying not to be rude. No, my parents did not raise us to be rude.
Right.
But I'm like, God damn, how many times do I have to say these 8 letters over and over? I'm like, M-I-C-H. M-I, like I'm talking to somebody's grandma. I'm like, Grandma, Pawpaw, put the rag down and quit. Like it was awful. And then when I looked at the autograph, it looked like, when they try to teach you to be like, they think you might be ambidextrous. And so you're a left-handed person and you try to write with your right hand and it looks like
shit.
You may need some assistance in school. That's what it looked like. It really looks like I wrote it with my right hand. Or my feet, or I put a pen in my mouth and tried, it was bad. And I felt so bad. And I thought, well, you know what? I've already spelled it 27 times. If he misspells it again, he can just write whatever the hell he wants to. It's fine. But the best part was, because when he dances, he does this. Okay. Does that all over. Little finger guns, pew pew.
Right.
And he draws those on the outside, like little lightning bolts on the outside of his name, or your name. So he writes Michelle, and then up at the top it says Jessica White, and he writes pew pew and draws the little lightning bolts beside his name. So I wish I had that to show you. I'm sure I will find it. I went upstairs and I found all kinds of things. I found my birth certificate. I didn't know I had that. I found the title to my car. Thought I lost that. So I found a lot of things, but alas, I did not find the autograph. So I'm sure there will be a day that I find it. And I did find this. Nobody gives a shit about this except for maybe if anybody watches sports. This is Christian Leitner's autograph. I don't know how to hold. There we go.
Oh, you probably just made a bunch of people happy in the Discord because they talk the sports stuff all the time, and I don't know what.
I know. Yeah, our thing, like usually the man is the sports junkie and the woman is not. No, when ESPN, when my phone goes dee 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 dee, it's not his phone, it's mine.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I've been a Duke fan for decades, since '89 or '90, and I wrote him a fan letter. And he sent me an autograph. And it's real because you can see like the marker where the stop and start points and stuff.
Yeah.
So I have that, and even the envelope that came in is in behind the frame. So
that's cool.
Found all kinds of things. Found some pictures from when my parents got married, and they've been divorced since 1993. Like, why do I have these things? But
yeah,
whatever.
I get it. Yeah,
it's whatever. That's what happens at the end of the week when you've been teaching high school kids and you're undercaffeinated and underslept, and you're 49 and you don't know what the fuck is happening in the world. So that's where we're at right now. So I will find it at some point. So there may be some show that, hey, randomly, here's the
Here's
autograph
Jessica's
that my
autograph, yeah.
wife found.
It'll be like a
So-
special edition. Yeah.
Yeah, like it might be under my bed in something. But like I say, it is in something.
In this
So
house.
it is in this house and it is in something. It's in a book or something where I've said, I don't want to lose this because this is the weirdest thing that I've ever owned in my life and I can't throw it away. So
Yep.
I will find it at some point. But yeah, I mean, we have met Alice Cooper and that was cool. And of course, our Lloyd Kaufman. So are you going to tell that story tonight?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely tell the Lloyd
Okay.
Kaufman
Okay.
story. Yeah.
Please do because that was, I've never had on my face for longer than that moment. Just
Just the look of sheer terror. Fuck it, you got 5 minutes. We'll just do it right now. Like,
oh, yeah, please tell it,
Yeah.
and I will add the color commentary because it's just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
so while George is doing the TV station thing, Michelle and I volunteer, quote unquote, or volunteered to help out, which basically involved like me just getting free admission to a convention, and then Michelle got to bitch at all of us about being pussies for complaining about standing all day, and she's like, I do this all the time, like, grow some nuts.
In heels, I wear heels all the time, so grow the fuck up.
Yeah, that's great because it's like that shut everybody up. He's like, you got like 30-year news at veterans that are just like, yes, ma'am, sure. But this particular convention, the Trauma team was there. The entire like Trauma Films guys, the Toxic Avenger people, Sergeant Kabuki Man, like Lloyd Kaufman, and like a bunch of his little like his helpers are all there too, right? And I've made like 4 or 5 trips to this table already just to like buy various things because it's like every time I think like I'm not gonna get that, I'm gonna get this, I'm not gonna get that, and then Lloyd's not there, so he's gonna like, and he'll sign anything, right? He signs everything for free. So we have to wait for a couple of times. He also wanders the convention too, so he's not there every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle and I hear that he's actually at the table signing, and Michelle, like, believe it or not, Michelle actually does, like, you do have like a penchant for like the weird movies. I've told before about like the one time that I went to your house and then you showed me the Jesco documentary of the Dancing Outlaw, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? Like, you had like the weird video haul from the Wild and Woolly sale. And you were so proud of your stuff. And it was like, yes, this is why you and George work, is because, it's just, But so you're all about like these weird movies, right? And so it's like, you're trying to pick one out because it's like you're wanting my advice on like, one of the more fun Trauma ones. And I think we went with Poultrygeist or something, didn't we?
Yeah, and then of course my first introduction to the Trauma team was Toxic Avenger. We grew up with that one, and that was my Toxie. That was like every slumber party we had to watch. I made everybody watch it. They were like, "What the fuck is this?" But shut up and watch it, and then we'll watch Pretty Woman or whatever you want to watch.
Right? Yeah.
George said, "That's my wife." So, but yes, we were studiously reviewing what we needed to purchase.
Yes, and I think I had the Toxic Avenger box set. I had something that I was going to get him to sign.
Mm-hmm.
And so he then like they find out that like my name is Sarah. When he's signing, he's like, oh, your name's Seth, we got your poster back here. And so while he's I believe like when he goes to sign the second thing, like the marker flies out of his hand and hits Michelle square in the crotch, right? Like, I mean, you couldn't just it was just that there was a perfect shot. You could not have
aimed better. I mean, when you think about like people in the movies that are like sharpshooters that they've never held a gun before, and then they just go pew, and it like hits the target in the middle. That is what happened. I mean, it was like dead on puss shot.
Like straight on, like you could have done like the football goal thing, and it just would have like slant, like
yeah. It was touchdown, split the. I mean.
And what was funny too was it was like there were like 4 people around, and like it was all in slow motion because the marker goes out of his hand in a way that almost looks like he threw it intentionally, but he didn't, because then his face gets that terrified look, and then Michelle's like kind of looking down what happened, and I'm going, huh? And then the other guy is watching, and then we all stop and freeze for a split second. And then Michelle just starts laughing, and she's like, it's okay. And then we're all like, oh, okay, good. And Lloyd's like, I'm not going to get sued.
Like, it was like all of you just went and looked at me. Like, we're going to wait and see, because if she flips the fuck out, Steph's like, if he has to, like he's looking for the exit. Where can I you know, and
Yes.
Lloyd's face is like, I mean, he went from hey to
Yeah, he just
like,
blanches.
It's
totally.
all over.
Like,
yeah, like mouth agape, that just wide open. Yeah, I've never made a man have a reaction like that before. So I was pretty proud.
It was pretty epic, yeah. And, it's definitely one of those things where it's like we don't think Lloyd will ever forget that. But I think you could show up like to the next convention that he's at, and he would remember you.
Guarantee. Like, hey, do you remember when you threw a marker at my crotch?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm old badge marker. How about that? You remember me?
Badge marker. I remember. I think you told him something along the lines of, "It's like it's okay. It's like I could just tell people I got assaulted or sexually assaulted by Lloyd Kaufman," and
Absolutely.
he was like. Okay, like it wasn't a phrase that he wanted out there, but like,
I mean, I didn't
happened.
anticipate getting hit in the puss with a marker, but you know, shit happens. So you just got to go with you just have to ad lib at that point.
I mean, you had more emotional damage out of it than he did, so I think yeah, you get the story right.
And you know, I mean, I went to college. This is not the weirdest thing that's been down there, so we're fine. We're fine. It was just a strange. It was a and I did get some cool earrings at that convention too. So, you know, score for me. I wore them yesterday. I got some Pink Floyd earrings and some Guns N' Roses earrings. I thought those were pretty badass. I wore my Pink Floyds yesterday. So, you know, every time I put those on, I think of Lloyd and our experience, our Sharpie connection.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm glad I got to see you, Seth. I love you.
Yes, I love you too, Michelle. Thank you.
I'm gonna give these headphones back to George. Yes, and I'm gonna go take my contacts out and get in bed because I'm tired. And then my nephew plays football in the morning at 9:00 up in Oldham County, so I'm gonna get up and go to that. So
you go take your rest. You deserve it.
Yes, and I didn't murder anybody. Didn't have to use my AK, so
it was a good day.
Yeah. Won't be eating that nutrition loaf anytime soon. So, all right, passing it off to the Fanatic. There you go.
That's awesome. Oh man, oh Shevitz, dude, that was awesome.
I could just see her trying to spell her name to Jessica White too. Yeah, just that could only like. So another friend of mine. This one's a real quick. It reminded me of a buddy of mine who met Edward Furlong in the drug years at a convention, right? And his name is Adam, and so he's having Edward Furlong sign like that Steelbook of Terminator 2, right, or the DVD copy of it, and he's like, and he starts to write. He's like, Adam, how do you spell that again? Adam. Adam. Yes, Adam. Adam. Okay, took him like 3 times, but Edward Furlong finally fucking got it. So, yeah.
Wow, that's going on. Oh, and Benton's in the house here. Oh, thank you, sir.
What up?
Yeah, and he says hello to all of us. So yes, awesome. Yeah, and Sarah. Yeah, I tell you what, man, my beloved, she knows how to tell a tale. Let me tell you.
Oh, dude, she is one of the funniest people I know, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, and so postscript to the Lloyd Kaufman story. So after this whole debacle happens, and you and Michelle come back to the booth to tell me all about it, I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious! I'm loving the story. So I'm like, okay, it's like we gotta go basically, back to Lloyd's booth. It's like, and just say hey, and then basically I'm basically, we'll play the role of the angry husband, sort of. Yeah, right. I'm like, hey, so as I understand, you met my wife, earlier today, and of course he looks at you and remembers you because you were burned into his brain just as my wife is burned in his brain,
right?
And so he and then of course I start laughing, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, oh man, dude, that was hilarious. That's a story that will live on. That is awesome. And he's like, well, hey, so anytime you guys are in New York, you want to come down to Troma, it's like, you just let us know, you come out to the front desk and let us know you're here, and they'll basically give us the grand tour. So
that's right. I did forget about that. We do have an open invitation to Troma Studios.
We still have an open invitation to Troma Studios. Yes. And all I gotta do is like, you threw a marker at my wife's vagina, and we all laughed about it. It happened about 8, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In Louisville, Kentucky. And then I was like, ding, there you go. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry, man.
Oh no, sorry, Brandon.
Yeah, we changed format a little bit so we can get Michelle at the top of the show there. We got two stories. We were just on the Jessica White story, but we got that and the Lloyd Kaufman story back to back. So
Yes.
yeah. So oh, Ben says she's breaking out. Watch out now. Yeah. Hey, if she's a superstar, that's all right by me, man. Hey, what's up, Chris? What going on?
What up, Chris?
Oh, so I guess it's time for me to have story time here. So
Yes.
yeah. So let's see here. So I've met actors, rock stars, and artists, basically like different, artists and stuff like that. Actors again, and wrestlers. So what kind of story you prefer there?
Dealer's choice. So let's go with musician story. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. Two of my biggest, because I'm a huge Kiss fan, I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan. So the only member of Kiss I've ever met was Gene Simmons. So as of right now, he's the only one I've met so far. He's not my favorite member of Kiss, but he's the only member of Kiss I've met. But there was basically it was his, I think, second book. He was doing a book tour in the midst of also doing a regular Kiss tour as well. This is before the first retirement.
Right.
So it was after the reunion of Peter and Ace coming back to the group, and then they had left the group, and then Tommy and Eric have replaced them. So they're still just basically touring like greatest hits, and I can't remember if Sonic Boom, their first record with the new lineup, had come out yet or not. But anyway, kind of around that time period. So basically, at Carmichael's Books, the one on Frankfurt Avenue in Louisville, basically Gene was doing a book signing. Well, the girlfriend I had at the time had a friend that worked at Carmichael's, so basically I got an in to get in line early. So I was like number 5, right? And so yeah, I got in line early, and so basically, here's the weird thing: so you had to already purchase an autographed book of Gene, so it's like a little bit more than just buying a regular copy of it pre-signing. And then when he gets there, he signs it again for you. I'm like,
that's weird.
Yeah,
like you're buying a signed book that he's going to sign a second time.
Right. Yeah. So basically, it gets signed twice, and then of course you get to pose with him for a picture, and it's like you kind of stand up on a pedestal, and like a little apple box, kind of pedestal there. And stand next to him and have a nice little pose, picture. And so we get in line, or I'm in line, and of course, Gene comes in to, pass the line to walk through, go into the bookstore. And there's like a lady in a wheelchair that's at the front of the line. He stops and talks to her, takes a knee and is, chit chat with her a little bit. So, it's a nice, gesture of there's the handicapped lady up front, let's talk to her, so she gets a little bit of special treatment, which is cool. And so very shortly as things start going, I get in there and get in with Gene, and God, like I said, this was trying to think. So I've been with Michelle, we've been together for 20 years, so this was probably 25, maybe even 28 years ago. So it's been a while. But anywho, so I stand up next to Gene, and he's like, "Hey, come on up here, boss," and it for a moment it weirded me out because I was almost a head taller than him. Because there's no platform boots, so
right.
So yeah, I was taller than Gene Simmons. So I'm like, that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to fathom. Is because I was going to say I can imagine you being the same height as Gene Simmons, but yeah, and if you don't know George in person, George is like 7.5 feet tall.
Not quite. I'm not the great Khali. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very large though. Yes. But
6'9".
But yeah, so yeah, but I mean, he was cool, and I didn't get to say too much because you kind of you get your picture, and maybe he signs the book, and maybe you get like a couple of moments of exchange. So basically, I was like, look, I said, I've been a fan of you guys since Fan of the Park aired in '78. That's basically where I started. I was 3 years old. I just got done doing the trick or treating, so he was loving the story. And like I've been just a diehard fan ever since. I've been with you all, the whole way. And so, yeah, he was cool. So that's the thing is sometimes I've seen interviews or interactions online, or sometimes Gene's like all kind of old man grumpy or whatever else, because people are basically coming at him at a time he doesn't want to fuck with anybody.
Right.
But if it's a meet and greet, a fan event, and you're a fan coming at him with love, he comes with that love right back at you.
I was gonna say, like, I've known of a couple of celebrities like that, and that were like, if you're bothering them on their time, then you're probably like not gonna have a good experience. But like, to pivot off of yours, like when you meet Gene, like another famous curmudgeon that I became very acquainted with was Corny, right? Jim Cornette, right? And that was because it's like I met him at a flea market. He had his booth set up at the flea market. He was just doing the hustle. Like him and Stacy were there, and like, of course, I found out that he was there and selling stuff. So it's like I was like gonna go buy, like, I was really big into picking up wrestling DVDs at the time of like obscure stuff, and then he was there, and so I talked to him for a little bit, got my picture taken, got an autograph on some books and everything, and we got to talking, and then like I was telling him about watching, remembering watching with my grandfather when I was a kid, and he's just getting off on it and everything. And then, it's like he tells me to email him. So then we start emailing back and forth. Right. And then, next thing I know, I'm doing research for him. It's like I'm over at Castle Cornet and everything. And like as far as like a personable man, like he was, I have heard stories of angry Corny. I've seen angry Corny. I've seen grumpy Corny. But as far as like, if you come at Corny just straight, not like, you're going to get it right back. And he's going to be like one of the coolest people you'll ever fucking meet. But yeah, you just have to know that there's like some caveats that are going to do that. Like that's another thing too. It's like I've actually dealt with Corny on a business level too, and a personal level, and like he's above board on. From my experience, he's been above board on all of it. Anytime anybody tries to say he shorted him or anything, or especially like former podcast hosts that have issues with him and tried to claim that he didn't pay him and shit, and it's like that ain't true because I was there for that. Yeah. You remember who I'm talking about? Whatever.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. Yes, yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, I mean, you did work for him for a potential book that is still yet to come out, and that was like
two books actually. I did. Oh, sorry, 2 books. Yeah, it was Tuesday Night at the Gardens. That one did come out.
Okay.
And I'm credited in that book. The second one though, there's the Smoky Mountain book that is still somewhere. I don't know, but I digitized damn near the entire Smoky Mountain library for him. And I mean, I benefited from it too, because I've got like one of the best quality copies of the Smoky Mountain library there is. Like I've got like one of the wrestling holy grails in this room right now that like people would kill for. These were straight from the Umatic tapes. Like they were, it was great. Like,
that'll be one of our watch-alongs because like I said at the top of the show, we were talking about we have opened up a Discord finally, so all friends of the Fanatic Forum and whatever else, from my friends from Whatnot have joined us, so you guys can come in there and hang out and talk stuff. We keep talking about doing like live watch-alongs and stuff like that. That I think, all I gotta do is like,
that's a good idea.
I got to point my phone at the screen and then we talk and then that's it. And so there you go. So yeah, some Smoky Mountain Wrestling Marathon. I'm down with that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we can do like a cultivated greatest hits kind of thing with like, like maybe like New Jack's first episode or like, Candido's first match. Cause that was one thing, like Candido's first match in Smoky Mountain. Like you can see, I've heard Corny talk about it, right? Where like Candido's just bounce it, like he's going like 90 miles an hour, just bouncing on, like he's doing Japanese speed wrestling in the middle of Southern Kentucky, basically. And like, so he's going so fast and the crowd can't keep up. And then afterwards, Corny has to tell him to slow the fuck down. Like he's doing great, but slow the fuck down.
Slow the fuck down.
And watching that match, it's like he's a fucking pinball, man. He's just all over the damn place. And you're like, I mean, that's why he was Candido, though, but yeah.
But I can of course back you up on the Cornys because I've met Corny on 3 different occasions. One time he showed up to an OVW show that was here in E-Town that you couldn't attend. So I got a picture with him, get to chit-chat a little bit. Saw him at another convention. Of course, anytime I want to basically just let him know I'm cool, all I got to do is name drop you. And he's like, oh yeah, Seth, yeah. So I see him at the convention. We talk a little bit more because he's of course there for meet and greets. And I bought Rags, Papers, and Pins. I bought that book off of him. and still have that. And of course, he signed and all that kind of good stuff for me, and had a good conversation with him. But the third time we saw him was it like SuperCon or whatever else, where he was there.
It was SuperCon or GalaxyCon. I can't remember what name it was at the time.
It was SuperCon because it was the first one we did. It's the one we met Mike Grell and Peter David.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
So anyway, so Corny was there too, and so we had seen him earlier, and so we say hey, and you talk to him a little bit and all that kind of good stuff, and then we're doing a live stream on Facebook for the TV station I work for, and then all of a sudden Corny comes in behind us, and granted he knew we were live on Facebook, so he kept his language clean, thank God, but he cut a promo and it was fucking amazing.
You should, George and I are just dying because Cordy's just cutting a spontaneous promo on us right in the fucking middle of everything, in the middle of a live shoot, and it like you couldn't have paid for that kind of awesomeness just for us as fans, just to have him walk by, just come in and just drop that shit. Yeah. Oh man, I would. It's still on. I think it's still on Facebook somewhere, buried like years and years, maybe.
I have to check the see if that stuff is still on there or not. Because of course I know like Facebook changed their policies, so there's a lot of like some of the older videos may not be on there anymore. I don't know, but yeah, no. I'm curious to see there. So we got a couple of comments here before our next story here. Let's see. Warm up. Basically, say Gene's his favorite member of Kiss. Well, that's cool, man. Like I say, he was awesome. Like I say, it was great to meet him here. So, Pepsi Fire says, "Can we talk about convergence for TDV's sake?" LOL. My bad. He lives to troll TDV. Yes, unfortunately, our beloved friend TDV, we know him as V here on YouTube because he frequently comments on there. Like many DC Comics fans, he has got a hatred against the Convergence storyline, as well you should. But we know that it is a trigger for him. And as all good friends do, we love to pull those triggers sometimes just to say, hey, we love you, and let's just start your day off with annoying you. So, yeah, on Discord, we troll TV. But
that's the C word, isn't it?
That's the C word. Convergence.
Okay, yeah, because there's like all kinds of private jokes and like inside lore that I'm just not a privy to, that I'm just reading. I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah, and some of those are whatnot jokes that started from there. Just like there's we have Comic Club like Fight Club, and our friend Sarah Boone here. Basically, all books are Sarah books unless she doesn't want them. Then we get to scraps. So. So basically whenever we work during claim shows, when I do dollar shows and stuff like that. So all books are Sarah books until basically she casts them off, and then basically we get to pick up the scraps because she's queen. So
that's where I get it. Yeah.
And speaking of Miss Sarah here, says she and her husband met Gene Simmons when he was promoting the Kiss cologne at our local mall. Yeah, Kiss has marketed everything, so I forgot about the Kiss cologne. Yeah, stood in line for about 2 hours, purchased the cologne, got a photo with him, and talked to him for a minute. So hey, I mean, well, yeah, you got further back in the line than I did, but yeah, basically, yeah,
what does Kiss cologne smell like though? Sweat and grease paint?
Yes, that's a great question. What does the Kiss cologne smell like? Is it actually a good product? Because that's the thing. Gene has been responsible for marketing Kiss across numerous products. You name it, they've put their label on it. Not all of them are good products. So,
that is true. Yeah, the Kiss has really kind of even paved the way. The Misfits, Jerry Only at least, doing the same damn thing, put the damn Misfits skull on every fucking thing.
Speaking of which, I saw a Crimson Skull action figure, but he was in the black garb at Ross the other day, and I almost picked him up for you.
At Ross?
At Ross.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, because I can't remember if it wasn't NECA. It was like he was like a blister pack sort of thing, but it was a Misfits action figure. About maybe like yay high or something like a 6-inch, a little bit taller figure.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it was the Crimson Skull, but he wasn't in the red row. He was in the black row.
Yeah. Well, still, if you happen to see one of them again, snag it. Eric and I might find it this weekend because we usually make Ross trips every couple of weeks.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I should have fucking grabbed it for when I saw it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, dude!" So. Anyway, so let's see here. Chris's celebrity story here. The only celebrity he's ever met was Preston Lacey from Jackass. Hey!
Okay.
I was at Casey's gas station when he worked there. It was brief, but he got, yeah. And of course, you showed the pic to us on Whatnot before. So
That's cool.
yeah. So yeah, you got to meet Preston Lacey. So there you go.
Yeah.
Pepsi Fire says he's down with some old school wrestling.
Nice.
He will never not love corny. Oh, there you go.
I do have another wrestler. Yeah, Eric will. Eric will appreciate the next story that I'm going to tell.
Oh, from the Charlotte 2015 story.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, and Sarah answered our question here. Never opened it. It's a male cologne, so who knows?
We're going to go with sweat and grease paint.
Sweat and grease paint. There we go. I love it.
Yeah. But no, Eric and I got to witness this one at the Charlotte Fan Fest in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2015. It was now Charlotte Fan Fest was one of the last ones that they did. They might have done one or two more after this, right? But it's basically like high school reunion for old wrestlers, right? And then like us as fans just get to come and watch. Right. So like you've got like we walk into this hotel in Charlotte and there's Ole Anderson sitting in the lobby holding court being a grumpy bastard. Right. Like we check in, we go to get on the elevator to go to our room, and Lance Storm gets off the yes, Greg Valentine, Eric, you know where I'm going with this. Lance Storm comes off the elevator, you know, and it's like we're just kind of like, oh wow, there's everybody. There's, you know, Dr. Tom Pritchard's walking around. Corny's here. I get to talk to Corny. He knows me. That kind of gives us a little bit of an extra rub because, you know, Corny's doing his, but also Corny's there as a vendor, so Corny's got a table that's a mile fucking long the whole fucking time, right?
Of course.
So
yeah.
We get real excited because like we get to our hotel room and then like we figure it out within a couple of hours, but like our next door neighbor is Greg the Hammer Valentine. And so like we see him a couple of times. Well, Saturday, like we get there on a Thursday, and you know it's like we're having a blast, you know, like Thursday, like, you know, because everybody's starting to get there and show up. Friday the convention really starts to kick off and everything, and there's like RVD had this great panel that drove the convention. The guy that was running the convention fucking bonkers because RVD just kept talking about all the drugs he did. And yeah, oh yeah.
RVD has done a lot of drugs. So.
Yeah, it was great. And then I'll never forget. They've got like there's one, the main vendor hall is in one of the rooms, right? But then in the hallway outside, there's like Sabu's out there, like Animal. You know, some of the Fantastics are out there to like old tag, like, you know, a bunch of. I can't even remember who's all there. But Greg the Hammer's talking to one of the Fantastics, and he's just sitting there. And now he's got a lady friend with him. And Greg, I mean, he's standing there with his blonde hair, you know, just chatting with his buddy. You know, they're just having a good old time. He's got his arm around his lady friend, and Eric and I are watching, you know. And now this young lady, she's about, you know, 25. You know, can't say that Hammer's robbing the cradle or nothing. But
even she's still probably 20 years as junior.
I mean, yeah, she's way too young for him, but she looks like she's having a great fucking time, right?
Awesome.
You know, because when we look, and you know, Hammer's like his arm has gone down further and is now like, you know, he's at least like under her. Well, he's under her shorts at this point, about 2 knuckles deep, and just in the middle of the fucking floor, right? Just like just having his conversation. And this girl is just giggling along with it, and like, you know, and Eric and I are just watching, and we're watching Greg the Hammer, like, you know, have some hammer time in the middle of the convention, and we're just the only ones seeing it. There's 4 people that are aware of this right now: Eric, me, Greg, and the lady. Like, we're the only ones that know what's going on in that. And yeah, and so we're like Steve. We were trying to find Steve to let him know, but yeah, we had to tell him the story later. He was too busy trying to get up Boogie Woogie Man's butt. But yeah, he was. Yeah, that was a great fucking weekend. But it was.
Eric said she was wearing a blue jean skirt.
Blue jeans. Yeah, it was the blue jean skirt. But yeah, he was up in there. There was no question about what he was doing, and she was just completely fine with him doing it.
Oh my god! Oh, Lord loves a ring rat. Oh, yeah. That's I never get tired of hearing that story. I really never.
Postscript to that story too, by the way.
I think Eric maybe want to share this there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That was it. Yeah, because it's Sunday, and we're trying to figure out like, okay. this pivots into the next story too, because the whole weekend Rip Rogers has shown up, right?
Oh yeah,
and Rip Rogers, if you know anything about wrestling, Rip Rogers is a notorious cheapskate and tightwad.
yes.
So when he shows up like he brings nothing, right? He just walks on an airplane with the clothes that he's wearing. Like he tells people this, like everybody's like, and he wasn't even booked there. He just shows up. So we go to the
it's a wrestling event. Rip's gonna show up.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. And Rip's hanging out, and of course it's Rip Rogers, so it's like all of his old buddies are there. He's hanging out and talking to them and everything. So Sunday morning, we're I remember the events from this happening because we saw Greg the Hammer after this. So we go down to the hotel, had a breakfast buffet, and we talked about going there a couple of times because we'd gone out to this IHOP around there that was really good a couple of times while we were there, and like we were doing the whole like good eats around the area thing, right? But this time we were just going to stay close and just grab some breakfast at the hotel because it was like the last day of the show and we were getting ready to go and shit, right? Or we were going to leave here in a couple hours. Well, some of the wrestlers come in and like they get, or like we buy our breakfast and like go and start. But it's a shitty breakfast, a shitty hotel breakfast.
Yeah,
a bunch of the boys, like the wrestlers, I'm going to say the boys, but a bunch of them go in and they've got their own little spot and they're eating breakfast, right? Well, then here who comes bebopping along? Oh, Rip Rogers, right? And Rip Rogers sees his friends and he goes and starts talking to him. And the lady that's running the little breakfast bar, she goes up and she goes, "Oh, sir, you got you pay up here first, and it's like $17 for the shitty breakfast." And Rip's like, "Oh no, ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm just talking to my friends over here. These are my buddies and everything." And it's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." So it's like he's talking, and there's like 8 or 9 people, and he's talking to them, and then just watching, you just kind of see Rip just casually like move with the group over to the buffet plates, and then he just fixes himself a plate and just walks over. Yeah, it just has a good old time. Just carnied the shit out of the whole weekend is what he did. Yes.
Yep. Carney of carnies.
Yeah, Eric and I have talked about this several times. We wondered if we wondered if there are any behind the scenes stories of Rip Rogers and Kenny Bolin, because we think that they would just fucking hate each other, right? Like,
you think,
yeah, because it's just two of the same type of people, and yeah. But
I want to hear Corny tell some Rip Rogers stories, because I mean I've met Rip before at shows when I worked that Derby City Wrestling show. Rip was backstage,
right?
And so I briefly talked to him and said hello and showed my appreciation, and kept it short wherever else, but it's like, and then of course he's you've seen him at OVW shows, when he was still there as a lead trainer. I think he's since retired now as a lead trainer, but I know. I love
sorry, what I was doing there just a second ago was Faith likes to do this thing where she sits at the top of the stairs and then Meatball looks up, and then so Meatball gets all wound up and everything, and Faith is just like, haha, you can't fucking get me. Well, I don't want Meatball to like lean up against the gate and knock it over and run up and eat her ass. So then I have to like throw something at Faith to be like, get the fuck out of the stairs. But sorry, the next after Rip Rogers carnies the shit out of the breakfast buffet.
Yeah.
So then we go back up to our room because it's a shitty buffet, and we're just gonna say fuck it and go someplace else and get a second breakfast because we barely eat there. Well, as we're talking about where we're gonna go and figure it out, we're closing the door, and then Greg the Hammer's coming out and he's telling us, oh yeah, there's this place over here, this place. He's giving us, like he's been, of course, he practically fucking lived in Charlotte, right? So he knows all the places and everything. We're like, oh, thanks, Hammer. And it's like we go and we shake the hand that was in the ladies' nethers, proudly, unabashedly, all 3 of us. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Eric has another reminder here. Sabu told us Jeannie had to take a shit.
Yeah, so I got a couple of pictures with guys there too. I got one with Animal where I'm wearing the pads and everything too. It's lost somewhere, but Sabu was one of the people that I wanted to get a picture with, and Sabu was with Jeannie at the time, right? But like, I mean, Jeannie, R.I.P. Jeannie, R.I.P. Sabu, too. They're both gone now. But Jeannie was, I appreciate Jeannie's work as a valet. I just came into Sabu in the ECW era when he's just the homicidal, suicidal. So just getting a picture with Sabu is fine, right? So, but the problem is, it's like when Sabu is just by his table at himself, he can't function hardly, right? So, I'm going to get the picture with him, and he's like, well, Jeannie's not here, man. If you want to, you have to come back in a little bit. She's going to take a shit. But she'll be back. And it's like, No, Sabu, we're cool. I'm cool. I'll just get a picture with you. I got my picture with Sabu, but the guy that took the picture, like he did one of those burst photos. So there's like one picture of Sabu looking cool doing the point, and me doing that, and then the rest of them, there's like 30 pictures of me and Sabu just looking like really confused at the guy. Like, it's like, are you done yet? Yeah. But yeah, no, Sabu's Jeannie got to take a shit, or she had to go take a shit.
You didn't have to announce that, dude, but
thank you, Sabu.
Yeah, Sarah like that one. A couple more comments here. Pepsi Fire says Sonny got around way more, even than Greg the Hammer Valentine's fingers, I guess. So, from what we hear, yes, yeah. No, I myself have never met Sonny.
Yeah, I've never met Sonny either. I do know though. I have heard from someone who might have watched her adult video that she might have pooped herself a little bit when the butt stuff started to happen.
Oh no!
So I've heard. I can't. That's just what I've heard.
Wow.
I didn't watch it or nothing.
Of course,
just out of curiosity, and owing to my 14-year-old self.
Well, if research.
Yeah,
research. Yeah. Let's see here. So, one of the best wrestling story or meet and greets I ever had was the 2000 or 2001. I can't remember what it was. Basically, one of the last few shows when OVW was still a farm team for the WWE, which basically meant the guys were cutting their teeth in OVW, and then if they basically got better, they would get called to the main roster, sort of stuff like that. So, and this was at the time where guys like, Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, that class, I was working behind the scenes with OVW doing some photography and occasionally doing like security work, which, whatever, but I knew Kenny Bolin, got to meet him, and basically he was my in to do that. So basically Christmas Chaos was supposed to happen like in December. And there was a big snowstorm. If you remember, this is probably it was somewhere between 99 and 2001, somewhere between there. I can't remember. But basically, if you remember, there's a really weird episode of Raw where basically like most of the roster was not available because they all got snowed out. They couldn't travel to the next town. Like flights were getting out. So it was kind of like all the mid-carders were coming up and it was a bunch of weird matches. Like there was no Stone Cold, basically like all the big guys couldn't be there at the show. Well, also that affected the Christmas Chaos show because a lot of those people that were going to be traveling from that were coming down to Louisville the next day, and they weren't able to do so. So it basically got pushed back to January. And of course, this is basically you got a lot of like OVW guys interacting with WWE guys. Either they have matches together, or they cut promos, or like Rico Constantino comes out with a promo, and then Stone Cold comes out, interrupts him, and then basically Rico gets stunned in the Louisville Garden. So there you go, boom, Rico's over now. He got stunned,
right?
Like kind of stuff like that. Like Batista and Kane went at it. And of course, this was when Batista was Leviathan, the Demon of the Deep. So he was basically playing like a monster heel. So basically it was monster heel versus monster heel sort of thing. So before the show, there's a meet and greet. And so you basically paid an extra fee and you got to meet a bunch of the stars, the WWE people that were there before the show. And then since I was basically on staff, after all the fans went through, all the staff got to go through. So that night I got to meet The Big Show, Mark Henry, Chris Benoit, the Hardys and Lita, Stone Cold, Deborah, Jim Ross, and Kane. And that's just the meet. And that's just the meet and greet.
Right.
And of course, right around this time, there's that really awesome match that Benoit and I think Jericho had, where like Benoit's doing a dive out of the ring, and Jericho just swinging a chair and like just flat out like if Chris Benoit was a baseball. And just gets smacked right on top of the head. Like it was a really crazy spot. I was like, oh my God, So I was
right.
So I even said something like I said, man, that was just insane. I was like, are you okay? And he's it's like I said, that was I just looked like it was just awful. He's like, yeah, I'm all right. So so he was kind of cool, but like he wasn't really chatty. When I got to the Hardys, I did completely. I didn't have a ring or anything like that, but I did propose to Lita because I started talking to the Hardys, and we're also like, okay, I said I would be remiss to miss my shot, but Lita, you were amazing. You're beautiful. I love you. Would you marry me? And I literally dropped to a knee. And so she was touched by it. I got a hug out of it. And basically the Hardys were cracking up. And Matt's like, dude, you were the only guy here that had the balls to do that all night.
Nice.
And so, yeah, that was, that was kind of to get the rub from Matt Hardy. I was like, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. And of course then, I got to meet, Stone Cold Deborah and everything like that. So, during the show, I'm basically working the floor security around the entrance, basically just supposed to keep people back, let the entrance, get free. I don't know what the hell I'm doing because I've never worked one of these shows before in my life like this. So at one point, there was a whole bunch of photographers. Yeah, they were kind of getting in the way sometimes, or just getting right in the face of people. And so during a break spot, nothing's going on or whatever else, or, whatever, we're not supposed to be doing anything. Corny gathers the bunch of us up that's sitting there at the entranceway. And basically, he's in the middle of a circle of a bunch of dudes in black shirts and yelling. It's like, I'm going to keep the people over here. And just, give me the finger around fuckers out of it. It's like, Corey yelled at me. This is awesome. And so, of course, it's like the first couple times I met him, I got to repeat that story to him.
Right.
But that was my first time getting to meet. I didn't know Corey was there. And all of a sudden, he just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, it's Corey. He's yelling at us. I fucked up on something. This is cool. So,
you're I could just see you being just standing there, just grinning like an idiot, just pissing him off even more. He's like, motherfucker, quit grinning.
I had a shit-eating grin on my face. I was getting yelled at by Corny. It was cool. So the rest of the show goes by just fine. Everybody's happy, all that kind of good stuff. And so at the end of the night, they're doing security escorts because there's an after party that's happening at this place that no longer exists called Bar Louisville. And so the place had been rented out. So it's basically just going to be wrestlers, staff, and then ring rats. A lot of ring rats. And when I say ring rats, I mean basically they're the same thing as groupies for rock stars. It's it is ladies who are all dressed up to the nines that have one goal in mind, to find their favorite wrestler and to bed him. So so I'm basically so where everybody's kind of getting their assignments, they're doing their stuff, whatever else. And so Bolin grabs me and says, "Hey, you're gonna do a security escort." And I was like, "Oh, cool, okay. Who do I get?" He's like, "You're gonna escort Kane." I'm like, "Cool. Okay." So basically, I'm taken down into the locker rooms at the lower level, and I'm just kind of hanging there with Kenny. And then who walks up to us is Percy Pringle, aka Paul Bearer. So he starts talking to Kenny. Kenny introduces me to Percy. The three of us are having a lovely conversation, still waiting on Kane. And as the three of us are talking, who else walks up but fucking Batista? I am way taller than Batista.
I've heard that he is a short fella.
Yes, I was shocked. I thought he was much taller than he was. But yeah, I am way taller than Batista. So I was, again, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed my calling. I don't know. But anyway, so Kenny introduced me to, this is Leviathan, Demon of the Deep here. And like, hey, what's up? How you doing, man? I love your stuff. It's a great match tonight. And so, congratulations. Kind of just gives, cool stuff like that. So, and then basically he walks off, and the three of us are still chit-chatting. And then Percy walks off, and then shortly thereafter, here comes Kane with no mask. And at the time, he had not removed his mask yet. So I'm kayfabing seeing him with no mask on. And when he still had his natural beard and long hair, before the long hair was just attached to a mask, he looked like he could have been like Raven's older brother. When Kane has his full facial hair, he looked like Raven.
Okay.
So it was kind of interesting there. But so we're basically okay, so he just had his bag with him, and I'm like, I said, do you want me to get your mask or get you a towel or something like that just to cover your face when we're walking out? It's like, oh, towel's fine. Okay, so boom, snatch a towel, and basically, we grab it. He wraps around his head, around his face, and we walk out. I take his bag for him. And he's like, no, you have to. That's like, you've been through, it's like, you've been through enough tonight, sir. It's the least I can do. So I take his, his rolly suitcase, nothing special. So take his, bag to him. We walk to his car, and so like someone says, so you get, we get a night, get a day off, or you get to go home, or is it back on the road again? He's like, no, actually, I get to go home for he says maybe 2 days. I don't know. It's like I do get to go home a little bit. It's like, oh great, yeah. Well, hope you get a good rest, and I'll see you on Raw, and kind of stuff like that. And he, basically he got to his car, and I made, the way was clear, and have a good trip, and like I said, there you go, and that was it. I've since met him a couple times before. Now I've told that story before too, for him, and he, I don't whether he remembers or not, I doubt it, but yeah, I mean, I was like, this guy's a monster on TV, and I'm just having a casual conversation walking into his car. So, right. Yeah, so my mark out brain was going crazy. So, the end of the story here is, so the after party's happening, and so after parties basically. Pretty much every OVW wrestler that was there, OVW staff, the referees, anybody who was working on the show, security were all there. A whole bunch of ladies dressed to the nine, looking hot, and then a large handful of WWE guys are there. Like the Hardys are there, but Lita's not there. Henry and the Big Show were there. I'm trying to think who else. There's somebody. Kane wasn't there. Stone Cold wasn't there. Maybe that was it, man. Anyway, but so I'm just hanging out on the wall, talking to a couple of dudes. The Hardys are kind of there with us, so occasionally, we can kind of chit chat with them. So it's like it was kind of cool, just getting to just hang and chit chat with Jeff and whatnot.
Right.
Mark Henry, on the other hand, it's January, so it's cold as hell. So he's in a cable knit sweater, but we're inside a nightclub that is nicely warmed, and there's a lot of body heat going on. So he's still in his cable knit sweater, sweat drenched off him because he is a dancing machine. That man never left the dance floor the whole night, surrounded by ladies. Somehow he kept getting a fresh bottle of water. Someone was providing him with water. Though he never walked off the dance floor to get himself a fresh water, it was being provided for him. So he's just cutting a rug the whole night, having a great old time. Later on in the evening, he starts grabbing dudes, all of us wallflowers. He's grabbing us by the wrists and pulling us out and putting the lady in front of us. Well, he grabs Jeff, and he doesn't pull a lady for Jeff. I don't know, maybe he already knew he had a lady or something like that. But anyway, but he pulls Jeff out there, and Jeff's like, no, man. And then, kind of do this sort of thing like that. And then Mark's kind of, trying to get him out. And then Jeff, does a couple, weird, slinky, dance moves, will-o-the-wisp kind of shit.
Right.
Kind of stuff like that. And then Mark's like, nah, you're good. And basically lets Jeff go back to his wall, So, it's kind of a fun interaction. But then, eventually he gets to me. And when Mark Henry grabs you by the wrist, you go. Because, I've said, with Kane, his hands are like catcher's mitts, before. Mark Henry, maybe it's like a frying pan, perhaps, just, a large skillet. The man has just giant hands, so they're very strong.
Yeah, meat paws, yeah.
Yeah, and so when the man grabs you by the wrists and pulls you on anywhere you go, and so he grabs me and says, "Come on, man, we're going to cut a rug or something along those lines." I heard "Come on, man," and he said something else, and I assumed it was something about we're going on the dance floor. I'm like, okay, and then basically he grabs this gorgeous brunette and puts her in front of me, and I'm like, "Hey," and she's like, "No," and then immediately turns away, and there you go. And then basically kind of Mark sees this immediate interaction. So it was 2 seconds. He didn't have time to turn around. He witnessed the whole thing, and he and I kind of look at each other and then so I just kind of give a little salute and go back to the wall. So
it's we tried.
I was like, I will forever love Mark Henry. He tried to hook me up because I was single at the time. So I was so he tried to hook me up with a fancy lady, and God love him for it. But yeah, she was it was immediately she took one look at me. It was like, nope.
She's like, "You're not a wrestler. I don't need you, buddy."
No. Oh no. Yeah. So yeah. But that was my Christmas chaos story. So it's just like
Oh, shit.
it's yeah. It's like I've met many wrestlers over time since then, but that is always just that night. I will never forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Oh, let's see. Pick says, I bet Seth and George would tank that chair. I don't know what chair. You know, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What's up, Pete? Good to see you, brother. And it said, should have asked to marry Matt Hardy after that. You know what? I may have had more of a chance with Matt. You never know.
Yeah. Who knows? Oh man, you could have been in all those like Hardy compound matches. You know, is Matt Hardy's gay husband.
Sweet. I could have done that.
Yeah.
We do like Kane. Yes, steal his beard hair as a souvenir. Yeah, I didn't get that opportunity to steal his beard hair. I was stunned by the fact like I'm seeing a guy out of his mask that's normally in a mask. Like, and I know what that means in like lucha libre culture. So like that's like I was like I'm not supposed to be seeing this.
Am I going to get in trouble with the wrestling council?
So am I going to wrestler court for this? Like, I'm a mark. I'm a fan. I may be working behind the stage, but I'm not supposed to see this.
Yeah,
shit.
This ain't supposed to happen.
Yeah, but there you go. So it happened. Let's see here. Eric says he met Kane in 2003 at Greenville, Tennessee Vision Center. He was getting his contacts. That's awesome. Oh my god! Yeah. Let's see. Pig says George has all these cool stories. Well, my most exciting story is finding a sandwich in the fridge. Oh, what? Is it a good sandwich?
I was gonna say it's like sometimes like I've done that before too. Though it's like where I've been like, oh man, I forgot I had this, and like it's behind other shit in the fridge, and you get real excited. Yeah, nah, dude, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So George threw it back. Too good for her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
George threw it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sarah. Yeah. 100%. I was not getting lucky that night. So, our buddy Bill is in the house here, and he has set you up for a story, sir. Because
shit! What we got?
It's story time for you. So, Seth's best celebrity interaction ever was with the esteemed owner of OVW and Kentucky Sports Radio, legendary Matt Jones.
What up, Bill? First of all, thank you for reminding me of this fucking story. Fuck Matt Jones. This motherfucker. Okay. So Matt Jones, if you're not like, he is probably my biggest connection to the sports ball world, because and it's this one interaction that I had with him, and he's a low, or I guess he's national now. I've heard scuttlebutt. I don't know. Eric and George, Eric and Bill could tell better, but at least local here, he's a lightning rod for people's opinion. Or you either love him or you hate him. Like I don't know of many people that do love him though. Anyway, this fuck mook. I'm at the time. This was going almost 20 years ago now. But I am writing reviews for a little website that is long since been defunct. But you know, it was one of my first gigs, so it's like I'm having fun with it, you know, and it's like I'm reviewing stuff. Well, was a local public access talk show that had been running for I think it had been like 10 years going on at this point now. But it's like one of the local, we were actually at like the PBS, like the KET studio, like filming it and everything, and it was like, and this dude, like, it's like I worked with the dude who did the show, and he invited me on, and it was supposed to be like one of those things where it was a 30-minute show, so he had like a little 5-minute monologue, and then there was like then it's like we each got like, or like I was gonna have like 12 minutes, and then like the other guest was gonna have 12 minutes, right? And it's like I knew there was gonna be 2 guests going in, right? It was me and somebody else. So I get there, I don't know who the fuck Matt Jones is, right? Like, you know, it's like they let me in. And so I'm in this little green room area with this other dude who was looking like he's sizing me up. First of all, like he's reading this magazine and he's got his legs crossed and he's doing that thing with his foot where he's just bouncing it up and down. Like he's obviously being impatient, right? And he's flipping through this magazine. He keeps looking up at me, and then like Lyle comes in. Lyle's the host, and they apparently know each other. It's like, oh hey Lyle, I got this thing going on. You mind if I go on first? Because like I got to take off here, and you know, it's like I got to do all this other stuff, and And Lyle's like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Like, is that okay with you, Seth? And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's like Matt Jones does not speak to me like up or in any point at this time, right? So like Lyle explains to us how the show is going to go and like the whole format and everything. So it's like we're like he's behind a desk, like Matt Jones is in the first chair and I'm in the second chair, right?
Yeah.
So then like Lyle does his whole like little opening monologue deal, and then he starts talking to Matt Jones, and that's who I first know. It's like, oh, this is Matt Jones, like from Kentucky Sports Radio, and like they're talking for a minute, and so I'm just kind of sitting there, you know, it's like just kind of waiting my turn, you know, and then out of fucking nowhere, Matt Jones just looks at Lyle, like he stops talking, he's like, hang on a second, Lyle, I just want to like, who's this guy? And Lyle, like, just real shitty, right? And then Lyle's like, well, he's the other guest, and like, you know, it's like he writes for gutmunchers.com, and you know, it's like his the other thing. Like Lyle barely gets the website out of the name, and he's like, oh, so he's just gonna sit there all day and do nothing, right? And I just look at him and I'm like, you're talking like the whole time, man. It's like, you know, it's like we're supposed to share time. He's he's in 14 minutes now, right? Like he's well over his time. Yeah. Well, like, and he keeps taking these little snipey shots at me. Or just like or just being there, and then like he's talking to Lyle too, but then he keeps like making these little jabs about why like there's this weird guy that's just sitting next to him, you know, that's not really doing anything. Well, I just start sniping back, right? Like I'm not like the kind of guy that's just going to sit there and just, you know, eat your shit, because it's like I don't know this guy from Adam in the first fucking place, right?
Sure, yeah.
But what I am noticing though the whole time is the cameraman's interest in the whole thing has gone from complete boredom to like he's fucking tuned in now, and he starts laughing. And so like, and I'm like sitting there and I'm just kind of like, the fuck, like I never get to talk like the whole time. It's like Matt Jones just takes over the whole fucking thing, other than me like sniping back and forth with him. And then so like the eventually we hit the 30 minutes because it's public access. So once you hit your time limit, I mean that's fucking it, right?
Yeah,
like,
you gotta go.
Yeah. So and Matt Jones practically runs out of the fucking room. And leaves, and like Lyle apologizes to me and everything, and it's like, you know, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, and so like Lyle's packing all the stuff up, and the camera guy, he comes over to me and he's like, look, man, it's like I've seen Matt Jones be interviewed like 15-20 times. Like I have never seen anybody go back at him like you have. So it's like you stood your ground. Congratulations, man. And I'm like, thank you, because I don't know what the fuck it is. He's like, yeah, he's an asshole. It was like this dude, like the cameraman, like could tell I was getting tilted. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but he was like, nah, dude, yeah, you're a real one. Props for you. Like fuck Matt Jones though, still to this fucking day.
Yeah, I'll say Bill adds on for treating people like trash to taking a borderline underage teen out on a date. Yes, you can see this happen in the Wrestlers documentary series on Netflix. Yeah, creepy as fuck. Yeah, you'll learn where shit bag. Yeah, I mean he's I mean, not that we're necessarily any better, but yeah, I mean his whole job is to talk about sports radio and be like he kind of is a douche.
He wants to be like. He wants to. I think he wants to be Pat McAfee, but like Pat McAfee is at least bigger than he is. Like he's got his own little zoo crew or whatever of people and shit, and like And,
he wants to be like the Pat. Yeah, he wants to at least be the Pat McAfee of Louisville, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Let's see here. So I've only had like I was present for one bad interaction with a celebrity, and I was personally involved with one bad interaction with a celebrity. So the one I was present for was a beloved video store we used to have in Louisville called Wild and Woolly Video, which was like the mecca for cinephiles. Like you could get like the normal stuff there, but then you could find like foreign movies and weird movies and like old. I mean, like it was a treasure trove. It was built that way.
They were the video store that had when there was the special edition of Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse that came out on DVD. It had a Kevin Smith audio track on it, and this was like Kevin Smith Chasing Amy era Dogma Kevin Smith. And they put it in the psychotronic section because it was just such a weird thing. Like that was like, even, and if you listen to the commentary, Kevin Smith's even like, I don't know why they asked us to do this commentary, but we're here. It like, the Wild and Woolly guys were like, nope, this movie goes in psychotronic just because it's fucking weird. Why is he doing this commentary? That's the kind of video store that Wild and Woolly was.
Yeah, but it was just an absolute treasure. And of course, the people that worked there, like everybody had their own taste, so they were meant to like give recommendations and get you to discover things. So it wasn't like you were like trying to like encroach on the cool people and they didn't want to talk to you. No, the cool people did talk to you, and they're like, "Oh, hey, have you seen this movie?" And if you haven't, you were probably leaving with that movie before you left the store that day.
Yeah.
So, Benny.
We got some of our friends. Like, Bart worked there. Wayne worked there.
Yep.
It's like some of our good friends worked there for a good bit. And
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah.
No. But yeah, they were like we consider them like the elite. Like, ooh, they're working at Wild and Woolly now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just worked at a fucking Blockbuster. They worked at Wild and Woolly.
Yeah, I worked at like dinky family run video stores and shit like that. I mean, granted, we did have a porn section, but then so did Wild and Woolly too. So okay, but nonetheless, so I did work at an old school video store that did have a porn section. So there you go. We had the beaded curtain, and I had to clean up some messes a couple of times. Anywho, different story though.
We'll save that for another. We'll save the X-rated stories for another show.
Anywho, so at said Wild and Woolly, Ken Foray was there doing a signing. Of course, Ken Foray, one of the stars from the Great Dawn of the Dead. Of course, tons of other horror movies and Mantis back in the 90s and stuff like that. But we were all there for our appreciation of Dawn of the Dead. And so I'm in line with my buddy Andy. Do you remember Andy?
Yes, Andy, the person who I first met him at your 30th birthday party, and I sat next to him at the dinner table, and he looked over at me and said, "Hi, I'm Andy. What's your name?" "Seth. Nice to meet you. Do you have any STDs?" I said no, and he said, "Well, the night's still young." And sorry, continue. That's Andy in a nutshell.
That's my boy. Oh, yeah. Anywho, so I'm with Andy, and I get my signature from Ken. I have a brief interaction. Like, I love the movie, I love your performance, and I've been talked a couple of the movies, and just very brief. Whatever else. Andy's behind me. Andy's up next. Now, of course, the autograph signing's going by just great. Then Andy gets up there. Andy asks Ken, he's like, "Hey, could you sign it from one street brother to another?" Now, Andy is not black.
No.
He is dark complected, but he is not black. Many people actually are convinced he is Middle Eastern of some sort, but he is not. But he's
very Jewish.
Very, very Jewish, but dark complected. He's not black. So Ken signs his name. Does not give the asked for remark, and just kind of like has this like the look like, I want to like scream at you, or kind of like he wants to say something but he doesn't. But then like he's just kind of just looks kind of almost defeated or just deflated, because everybody else that's in line, like he was bright and interactive by the time I got to him, and then after Andy, he was not that same man anymore.
He just shut down. Yeah.
So that was the time I met Ken Foray. It worked out great for me. The other time, so my buddy Glenn had a con that he basically, this was in like the mid 90s. And of course, I hadn't met Glenn at this time. I met him like decades later. And then we talked and found out like, oh yeah, I had this convention I did in Clarksville. And I was like, dude, I was at that convention.
Is it WonderCon?
Yes.
Okay.
It was in Clarksville. No. It wasn't the Wonderfest. That's in Louisville. This was in Clarksville. It's called a HeroCon.
Okay.
It was called HeroCon, yeah. And so I went with a buddy of mine that I think we worked at Domino's together. And so we go there, and it's a very small con. But I mean, right. It's first timer guys, and a small hotel or that. The big guest of honor, Brake Stevens, one of the 90s Scream Queens, was there. She was lovely. She was cool. Got to meet her. But then the other two guests of honor were Dick Durock, who was the Swamp Thing from the original Wes Craven Swamp Thing, and I think he also did the sequel, and I can't remember if he did the TV show or not.
No, Dick was, Durock was in all of it. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So he was there. So I talked to him. He was lovely, and it was a great conversation. He had some fun stories to tell on the set of the Swamp Thing. He was just very charming, that sort of stuff like that. Sitting next to him, and no one was interacting with, and he was apparently getting pissy about it, and decided to interact in the conversation that he was not invited with. Sitting next to Dick Durock was Michael Gray of 1970s Shazam fame. He basically played Captain Marvel in the TV show. So when Billy Batson the Kid turns into Captain Marvel, that was Michael Gray. So I had no interest whatsoever into talking with Michael Gray, because even as a child, I thought the only thing cool about that Shazam TV show was the animated opening. But as soon as we got to the live action shit with the kid in the van and the old dude, I'm like, did not care one bit. And so I'm like, I look over at him, like he literally starts getting, I look over him, I was like, dude, with all due respect, I'm not fucking talking to you. And he's like, well, you watch Shazam as a kid? It's like, I did. And it's just like, I'm not, I have no interest in you. I'm not talking to you. I wasn't addressing you, whatever else, but just the fact that they were sitting close together and I was talking to Dick and not him, that he gets all pissy about it. And of course, interesting postscript is that, when I met Glenn years later, he's like, oh, dude, he's like, that guy ripped me off for so much money because, he was supposed to be there, selling stuff and, meat and grease, stuff like that. He's there for one, it was like it was just a 1-day show. And so he's there and he basically racks up like a whole bunch of like, they didn't have a restaurant, so he couldn't rack up like room service, but he racks up like every bill he can, like raids the mini bar, watches every pay-per-view he can. So he basically costs like the land like a whole bunch of extra money and just kind of left it that way. So like he was just what the fuck? Like, so hopefully no one's a 70s Shazam fan there, but Michael Gray was a fucking dick.
Well, fuck Michael Gray.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Bill says, on the flip side, meeting Muhammad Ali was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Damn.
Yeah.
Him shadowboxing with me and something like that. I think he loved doing that. The show, like he would like just get as. I always heard stories that even when he was his oldest, most frail, like he would do some of that shadowboxing stuff and like would get like so like whisper thin close to you. And like even like people like, dude, like you could still kind of feel it. Like if he wanted to connect, he could, and even at his age, he could still probably drop you. So I never met Muhammad. I did meet his brother Raman because he would come into when I was managing a showcase Louisville every Saturday night. He and his family would come in dressed to the nines. I mean, they're just showing up in a movie theater. But they would just come dressed to the nines. And, of course, there was, like, all the OVW people we knew passed those guys in. When Kenny and the wrestlers would show up, those guys get passed in where, they're cool. And then when Raman, like the first time he came, or Ramadan, I can't remember what his like. Anyway, when he came in the first time, my manager was like, oh, so this gentleman gets in. So this is, this is Muhammad Ali's brother. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So, but he was such a sweet man, but every time he'd come in, he'd introduce, like he saw me every week for 4 months, and he introduced himself to me every single time. So bless his heart. Yeah, but he's been punchy, but that's still cool. You got to meet the Ali.
Yeah,
I got the brother. You got the dude. So
that is cool.
Let's see. So Chuck rented movies to our dead friend Chuck. Chuck's not dead.
No, that was, oh God, that's a long story. But yeah, I know exactly what Bill's talking about there.
Oh, okay, different Chuck. Okay, I was like,
no, yeah, well, no, it's the same Chuck, but it was,
oh shit.
Yeah, it was one night, like Bill and I were drinking with our significant lady friends at the time, and Chuck became a topic of subject or a topic of discussion, and it was made to sound like we were talking about Chuck in such a way that they thought that he had passed. And they were very upset to find out that it's like, no, Chuck's fine. He's just like 20 minutes away. Yeah.
Not only is he alive, he's on the way.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. So then it became our dead friend Chuck. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, which of course, I don't know if Chuck's watching this now, but I know Chuck's going to be getting married here in the near future. So best wishes to you guys. That's awesome.
Yes, I am his best man.
Oh yeah, there's stories about that too. Anywho, Pick says he met a guy who knows a guy who met John Cena. So me and John Cena are like brothers. I passed him a couple of times in OVW when he was there. I think I may have said hi, and he said hi back, and that was my conversation with John Cena. So.
Fair.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was, like he just had stuff to do, and we were in passing. So I say, hey, and stuff like that. So I never interact with Lesnar. Like I said, Batista very briefly. Orton was I briefly interacted with him. He was always cool, but also everybody behind the scenes knew that Randy was kind of a wild child still at the time. And so if Randy was going to do something and get in trouble, and you were with him, guess who was going to take the fall? Not the third generation superstar, but the other dipshits that were with him. So you kind of knew to just like keep things cool with Randy, but to maybe not go hang out with him after hours.
Mm-hmm.
So of course he has since he's much better now. He has he has since admitted the error of his ways. But yeah, when he was, I interacted with him. He was cool, but we knew it's like don't go hang with Randy at the bars because somebody's gonna get arrested. It ain't gonna be him. Right. Yeah, because shit like that. So yeah. Bill's got another question for you, Seth.
I kind of have an idea what this one might be. Who
you gonna call? Seth met a Ghostbuster.
I did. Okay, so I've been thinking about this one ever since we were talking about doing this, and I was thinking about this, and this was almost 25 years ago, and one of my very first convention experiences. I did not have a good experience with Ernie Hudson. However, I will amend my shit a little bit to where it's like, looking back on it now, knowing what I know now, maybe it was a little bit of like I didn't know what I was doing, and I might have been taking things the wrong way, or he might have been having a bad day his own self, and it's like I could be misremembered. Like, yeah, it was. I have never heard anyone else have a negative Ernie Hudson story, but it's like I felt like I did for the longest time. But then I'm just questioning whether or not like my memory of it might be flawed.
Is it me?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I mean, was it me? Like, was it like, I don't know, but it's like maybe I just don't want to think the Ghostbusters are pricks. I don't know. Like,
fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, that was, yeah.
Of course, I talked about Gene Simmons. One of my other musical heroes I got to meet was Alice Cooper, and of course, you were with me at that convention as well. We were both working. Interestingly enough, this is also the same day that I met my boy AJ.
Yes.
Yeah. And so basically, it was a paid thing. Like I paid for a ticket to get in line and basically get to meet him and get an autograph. I didn't do the photo or anything. I just did the autograph. And so I brought my copy of the Prince of Darkness EP. Which basically it was kind of more like a greatest hits of like his last 3 records at the time. So it's kind of like a bit of like an 80s greatest hits without being officially a greatest hits record. Anyway, so I brought that to sign, and so I'm in line, and Michelle's with me, and so we get up to him, and just say hello, and of course I was like just admiration dump, basically I've followed you for, since I was a kid, yada. And I show him the record. He's like, oh man, I haven't seen one of these in a while. Basically talk about that particular cover.
Yeah.
And so he signs it for me and gets my name and kind of stuff like that. And it has a little remark. And so I told him about my story because I was a diehard Muppets fan. And at the time, I had heard Alice's music on the radio, but I had never actually got to see him in a performance because again I was like 3 years old.
Right.
And so Alice on the Muppets, this is after Welcome to My Nightmare comes out. So he comes and does his episode. I'm enjoying the episode. And then about maybe halfway through the episode, he does a performance of Welcome to My Nightmare. And so it's kind of cool. There's the monsters doing the thing and big jazzy number. And then literally at the end of the show, they do like this like ghost face transition of like him, just like his face is like just coming at the screen at you. That scared the ever-loving shit out of me. I ran out of the living room, dove under my bed, and I was not coming out for quite some time. And for years, I could not watch that episode. And so I was always terrified of Alice. And then, like, I grew up, and then, like, the 80s come around, and was it Friday the 13th, part 6, where he does the theme, Man Behind the Mask? Yeah. And I see the video, I'm like, hey, there's Alice, and I like the song, and now we're buddies again. So he loved hearing that story. He got a good laugh out. So I made Alice Cooper laugh. So that was fucking cool. But he's like, oh yeah. It's like, so when they approached me about doing that episode, he's like, well, I don't know, it's a kid's show. I'm not sure if my stuff's appropriate for it or anything like that. It wasn't like he didn't care about doing the show. It's like, am I the right pick to be on the Muppets? And they knew how to get him because, like, whoa, it was like some of your favorites have been on the show before. I was like, oh, yeah, who's that? Vincent Price and Christopher Lee. And he's like, yep, I'm doing it. Never mind. And it's like, that was it. That's all he needed to hear.
Yeah.
That 2 of his great horror heroes had done the show prior to him. So like, yep, I'm in.
Yep.
So that was awesome. And then Michelle basically tells him, oh, I'm a teacher. And of course, School's Out is my, anthem. I love hearing that song, at the end of the year, yada, yada. And he's like, it's like, it's always commonly misconstrued that song is about the kids. He's like, if you listen to it, it's for the teachers. It's like the kids are singing the chorus, the no more teachers, no more looks, no more, that's sort of thing like that. But the rest of the song itself, that's the teachers talking.
That is cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, he's fucking right. And so so that just lit up Michelle. So and he was like, if you remember the scene in Wayne's World where he's talking to them and telling about Native American. Yeah, Native American history about Milwaukee, like that same kind of like just casual tone, like he's your buddy. That's the way he was talking to us. I mean, it's like we walked away and I was about to start bursting into tears because I met one of my heroes and it was just such a cool interaction and everything like that. And then here's this little 13-year-old boy right in front of me all of a sudden, and he's dressed kind of like Green Arrow, kind of like, but not a sophisticated costume, but kind of like as a little kid would. He's there with his dad, and he tells me that he loves the Fanatic Forum, WBKI Fanatic. He loves the show and he watches Arrow. And could I sign his bow? And so I'm like, I'm trying not to I'm trying not to break down. Having met one of my heroes, all of a sudden here's this kid in front of me ask me for an autograph. I'm like, what is happening today? And so of course I'm like, oh yeah, sure, buddy, yeah. So we get and I get a picture with him, and I'm like, well, you want to come over the booth with us? And I take him over to the CW booth where we were at, and like, here's all my cosplayer dudes, and you were there too, and like, here, let's get you some free stuff, let's get you pics with the people here. And so I gave him the royal treatment coming over, and stuff like that. And then over 10 years later, I'm friends with that young man. He's in his 20s in college right now and moving.
Got published his own fucking comic book.
Yeah. They're currently working on issue 2, so look forward to AJ popping up on a future episode of the podcast here.
I'm ready for issue 2. I've been waiting.
Yeah, so I couldn't be prouder of a young man, but to think like that whole interaction and then turn around and like I've got to like hold it together to meet this young man here. But I'm like, so yeah, that was awesome. So let's see here. A couple more comments, and then you get story time here, and we'll probably get wrapping up here.
I was going to say I got to wrap up because I think the boys are getting restless downstairs.
I figured they would be. So only wrestler White Sox. It's good to see you, White Sox. Only White Sox ever remember we met was you met AJ. Oh shit. Santa shirt and hung in his closet ever since. That's cool.
That is cool. I heard he was a cool dude to meet, like, as a fan.
I heard you. V, what's up, brother?
What up?
Did anyone? No, I've never. Well, actually, no. Take it back. Briefly, very briefly when he was doing like ICW Wildside stuff in Clarksville, or in Louisville, or one of those. It was an Ian Rotten show.
Yeah.
And I had seen him several times and started kind of getting into him. This was before he was even worked with OVW. And I said, hey, I said, love your stuff. And for the life of me, I can't remember who it was. There was some kind of like metal band or punk band or something like that. Somebody I knew he liked. It wasn't AFI. I knew it wasn't AFI or anything like that, but it was somebody that I knew he liked. I'm like, oh, hey, dude, have you heard the new such and such record? And he's like, no, man, I heard they got a new one out, but I haven't checked it out yet. I was like, dude, it's awesome. Y'all hope you love it, man. It's like, and then that was it. And then he moved on to the next fan. So I basically, he was, didn't have near as many of the tattoos that he does now. And he had very stringy blonde hair, but you could still see his dark roots underneath. So there was that era of CM Punk. Yeah. He was
Fair. Yeah. I have not met CM Punk. I have seen him at some of those Ian Rotten IWA shows back in the day, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, but that was basically about it. So, White Sox, of course, White Sox lives in Chicago. Never did, and a shame since he's from Chicago and had a few opportunities here. You'll get your opportunity one day. Let's see here. Chris says it's cool seeing Haku on wrestling again, managing his sons. Actually, yes, it is. Pig and Bill can be friends because Pig does not care for CM Punk. I still love Pig, and I still love Bill, but yeah, you guys are wrong.
Yeah, so. You forget my feelings on CM Punk. I think he's the modern Hulk Hogan. For better and for worse. I said what I said.
Yeah. I feel you, brother. I feel you. V says, asking George or Seth. You got all kinds of answers, V. There you go. You got 3 answers. Let's see here. Bill says he was working security at the Horseshoe Casino in Southern Indiana back in the 2000s, and it was on Alice Cooper's detail while he played on the golf course. Could not meet a more nice, down-to-earth guy. I could, 100%. And
I have never heard a bad story about Alice Cooper.
And you got to hang with him when he was playing golf, so he was definitely chill at that point. So... And
Bill would be the dude to hang with and golf with Alice Cooper too. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, if there's no windmill or giant clown mouth involved, I don't fucking know what I'm doing golf. Yeah. So, let's see here. White Sox. I'm still there, back and forth, listening to. Oh, okay. So you're back with the Discord. I'm talking about that. V's watching one on YouTube, one on Discord. God bless you, V. Sarah says that she has met Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd. I got a signed Crystal Head vodka from Dan. Cool. Also got a photo and autograph from Ernie. Met the girl who played Sarah in The Crow. Oh, shit.
First Sarah or second Sarah? Because
she said Sarah, The Crow. She said The Crow, so I got a feeling she means first Crow.
Yeah. Yeah, because second Sarah was kind of... I will say second Sarah was a bitch. Yeah, I met her. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see here. Pick says, off topic a bit, but he's just curious. What's Seth's favorite comic book character? And don't worry, he won't judge.
Okay, so if you're gonna go a strictly comic book character, the one that immediately comes to my mind that is not like a pro, like I'm not counting like a Conan or anything, like because that's like he's an adapted character. But like my favorite, like straight up comic book character is the Question. The Vic Sage deal, it was like his 36 issue. That's one run that I want to get again someday, is the Denny O'Neil Question run, just because it was like that was one of my favorite comic book runs of all time. I fucking love the Question. So
Yep. Good answer there. And see, you have more friends. Kent also is not a CM Punk fan, so there you go.
Good.
Let's see here. If he says CM Punk is the GOAT, best human being on this earth. Oh, see? There you go.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Indoraptor, what's up, Josh? Says been a lot at this point. His first was Kane Hodder. Yes.
Dude, Kane Hodder is a super nice guy. I've met him a bunch of times because back in the day when like horror conventions were where you just walked around and talked to everybody and everybody would just talk to you. One thing you don't want to tell Kane Hodder to do though is take a picture of you and have him choke you, because he will choke the fuck out of you. Like it ain't a play choke either. He fucking grips it and like it hurts.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, so you can't meet. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Josh is going to was it Scarefest or whatever else here fairly soon, and so yeah, like pretty much everybody except for Bruce Campbell, because obviously he's still going through treatment right now. But like even like Sam Raimi is showing up for an Evil Dead reunion. So it's literally like, and he's already met Bruce before at previous shows. So it's literally like it's everybody else, like Sam fucking Raimi, who doesn't come out to shows like this often, but now he's starting to do it a bit more. But it's like, dude, that's
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is
so
cool.
yeah. Oh, and Josh can verify that. Yes, he sure will choke the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. Do I have one more story here? Trying to think if I have any others here. Well, I've been put in the Cobra Clutch by Sergeant Slaughter, so that was pretty cool. When I met Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, he let me hold his Intercontinental Championship. That was the one that he got at WrestleMania 3.
Arn Anderson let me hold the NWA TV title. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Arn Anderson is a super nice guy.
That's what you told me. You had the balls to go talk to Arn. I didn't. I talked to Rick that day. I actually got to interview Rick for my show, and it was weird because Rick was very subdued. I was expecting a little more life out of him, and he was extremely subdued. So it was kind of a little disappointing. But I was too nervous to talk to Arn, and you had the balls to do so.
Talking to Arn Anderson was like talking to your friendly uncle. You know, he was super cool. Like he was very personable. Like he was like, "Do you want to hold the title, son?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "All right, when you do it, we're going to take this picture, and you got to throw up the 4 there for me." And I'm like, "Yes, sir. I got you, Mr. Anderson." Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, so afterwards you told me, it's like, man, it's like, yeah, no, and it's like, I mean, I'm sure, but it's like, it was just like, it's fucking the Enforcer, man. I was like, I don't know.
Right,
like,
yeah. Oh, I mean, he could have still crushed my fucking head with his hands, but like he was a nice guy. Yeah.
Oh man, well, this has been a fun ass episode. I knew it was gonna be fun because we're just just trading these stories like that. But yeah, it's like, so I've been fortunate to meet a lot of famous people, just either being at cons or with various work or being in the right place, right time. I mean, there was tons of other actors. I've talked to Christy Swanson. Had a nice conversation with her. I've spoke to a good chunk of the Batman the Animated Series cast, including Kevin Conroy, and they were wonderful people. Yeah. So there's all kinds of just just some great interactions. I've been blessed to have over the years, just because again, either just work or just be in the right place, the right time. So yeah. So some I didn't necessarily have to didn't necessarily think I had a business meeting, but then there you go. So getting me Percy Pringle backstage. I'm like, holy shit, it's my whole bear. So let's try to be the incredibly handsome Piccolo. Well, you came along in my whatnots like a thunderstorm. We've loved you ever since, and you're a giant Godzilla fan, and also all praise to the Tama. So there you go. And if you know what that means, then we love you. So there you go. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. So Bill's got it in here. Okay. I met Can't Moonsault Phil. I love this story.
That's my boy.
At the Waffle House off Exit 2 in Jeffersonville after an IWA show, and that interaction alone showed me what a garbage human being he is. Now, in all fairness, this was after a show, probably in the wee hours of the morning. Bill cannot confirm or deny if he
stop the both of you.
Okay,
we ain't doing this. We ain't doing this again. You cannot put Bill and George talking about CM Punk because talking about the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. You get to decide which one is which. But yeah, 2 men bullheaded in their opinions and will not compromise their opinion on CM Punk.
Yeah, good point. Good, fair enough. Yes. Yeah. Bill had a bad interaction. I had a good interaction, and it kind of framed our it framed our opinions from there. So, the last thing I could possibly say here is the one definite celebrity interaction we very recently had together, the 2 of us, is basically our boy Joe Bob Briggs here.
Yep.
We got to meet him, the lovely Darcy, a few months back at theater in was it Lexington or
Yeah, Lexington. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, for how the redneck saved Hollywood, we told the story in a previous episode. Basically, like there was a line for meet and greets before the show. The line could not all be met by the time the show had to start, and so basically we all got numbers. And after the show was over, this is a 3-hour. It was supposed to be a 2-hour show, and Joe Bob talked for nearly 3.
Yeah.
And then after said show, he comes back out, and he and Darcy finish the meet and greet for everybody else that he gets served.
Yeah.
So that in
He
itself,
needs to, and it's not being rushed either. It's like he's talking to everybody. I mean, he's exhausted. You can tell.
yeah,
But like he's there for everybody. Darcy's like hanging on to or picking up the slack and just being great. And like, yeah, it was like meeting Joe Bob was amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and so of course they haven't officially announced where they're going after their deal with Shudder is over, but they do have a new home. They will announce when the time comes. But of course, we had gifts for them as well. And then so we posed for our picture. And I'm like, well, I got to put my boy next to Darcy. I'm a married man now. And so let him enjoy that. And Darcy got up nice and close, which must to your delight. You were gelling about the whole thing.
I did. I asked for consent before I put my arm around her. I wasn't just going to grab her, and
Yeah, you were a gentleman, but yeah, she got very close to you, much to your delight. And I posed next to the king, and so there we go. But yeah, it was it was a lovely, lovely evening. Got to meet one of our heroes that way, and of course, get to meet Darcy was a plus. So there you go.
Yeah. She is a lovely woman. I told her that next time that she's in the southern Indiana, that I will take her to a chain restaurant of her choosing.
To which she was slightly confused by.
Yeah, she did not get that.
She did not, but but she said thanks anyway, and then they said like, and I have gifts for you guys.
Yeah, yeah. My thing didn't go over too well, but
yeah. And then, so I gave basically like I had like an old Sergeant Rock Joe Kubert cover because Joe Bob loves Joe Kubert artwork, so I got him a nice Sergeant Rock cover, and then of course I said I knew Darcy was a big fan of the movie House 2, and Marvel Comics did a 1-issue adaptation of House 2 that I had found out before the show. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get one of those. Got one for her. And, so I was like, well, this came from my collection. I, got it for you. And so she was delighted. And then as we were leaving, she basically whispered in my ear where their new streaming home would be. So we got a little bit of a secret. And I'm like, Darcy also whispered in my ear. So like, that was, it wasn't sweet nothings, but it was helpful information. But I'm like, cool.
Yeah, it was probably a good thing that she whispered it in your ear, because if it was mine, we would have been arrested and we would have been.
And Chris says, one day you will get to meet me and you'll be like, what the fuck, go away. Well, I don't know what you look like. It's too late about that. So, all right, folks. Well, thank you guys very much for tuning in this evening. We had just a great time hanging out with you.
This was a blast. Yes.
And also, big thanks to the lovely Mrs. Fanatic Michelle for coming in and making a guest appearance. So, if you guys didn't catch her at the top of the show here, definitely rewind this fucker back here and check that out at the top of the show here. And I will post comic reviews on the Discord. And once again, if you want to join our Discord, go back up in the comments there. They're the first comment in there, the link in our Discord. So help yourself. Come join the fun out there. But anyway, you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time on the Fanatic Forum. And, of course, we can't go without leaving you with a word for our friends for Comic Books for Kids. So you guys have a good one. TTFN.
Laters.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, We can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops, and overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.